So now we know when Jesus is speaking of his coming back, those that are waiting for a brown-haired fellow with a part down the middle holding a lamb, looks like an Englishman, you can almost count that is, again, for those who want an excuse not to understand the truth, to not be seeking truth, but to seek confirmation of their own illusionary world, they're going to get deceived. There's actually a passage that says, guided indeed is he whom God guideth, but for him whom he misleadeth, no one can find a patron. You can't help somebody who can't see because they're clinging to mortal and material hopes and dreams. Only those that are looking for justice, those that are looking for truth, those who are looking for change will recognize the voice of truth in whatever form God chooses to share it with. The great problem of humanity, getting caught up in the literal. We can understand it when we look at history, but as soon as it gets applied to ourselves, suddenly we freeze up. Isn't it fascinating? But having gone through this myself, I know that it's challenging because as I went through it, I shed a lot of tears. I got scared. I saw it, but it was so different than what I expected. And at the same time, it was too beautiful not to be true. Challenging. Last one.
Quote 43, Jesus speaking. Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it is not given. Their ears are dull at hearing, and their eyes they have closed. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
Now, how do we know who sees and who doesn't? How does it work? Well, Jesus gave us another quote that's he says, 2 men will be on a roof. One will be taken and one will be left. 2 men working in a field. One will be taken and one will be left. In my case, 2 people working in a shoe store. One was taken and one was left. What is this speaking of? It says, when truth comes, one can see it and spiritually rises up to meet the descending truth coming from God. While someone else says, I don't see anything. I don't believe this is real. And that's the test when the manifestation of God comes. When the Lord comes, 2 people can be side by side, both hear the same message. One comes alive, one's heart, spirit, soul is soaring in the Spirit. And the other one is just carrying on business as usual. Don't be surprised. This is the test. Who has eyes to see? Whose heart is the source of their guidance? And whose head is the source of their guidance? It's not that we throw out the head, but we have to start with the heart to recognize value. Then we can recognize quantity. But if we start wanting to know quantity before we know quality, we're in trouble. And that's why God tests us this way. Are we really wanting a world that's just? Are we willing to stand the test of are we of the heart, or are we occupied with normal living? What a challenge, but how beautiful the way it is.